And here we go with the third round of the Brno Cup 2024. Two schemes on the board. In the previous round already, surprise I would say, as Matěj Holub managed to defeat the reigning world champion Pavel Laube. And now, in the second round, we have Jakub Horák opening to Miroslav Háša on the first board, and it's a scheme. Let me try and position it. It's one of my liked schemes. It's this one. The correct white is here, and this would be the basic theory, and this is actually a white win. It's not easy, but the opening itself is proven to be a white win, although I would not at all be surprised if Miroslav Háša decides to use a swap too. On the second board, we have the same opening as in the previous round, but this time it was Lukas Souček who played it against Igor Eged. So let's just see how this one is gonna go. I'm positive that Igor is going to use a swap to himself. Let's see how the Slovakian decides. Oh, actually, I'm having second thoughts. Igor does not like to be on camera, so he cannot be the one playing here. Which means this is probably the third board where Matěj Holub played this opening against Petr Žižka. So I'm positive that Petr Žižka is going to play a swap too. Yeah, I recognize that Hawaii style little scarf. Piggy has that on almost every tournament. It's like his Kabbalah. I'm pretty sure it brings him some good luck this time as well. But yes, I confirm the second table is Matěj Holub versus Petr Žižka. So Piggy played the same opening with which he succeeded against Pavel Laube, and now Petr Žižka is attempting to come up with a better swap too than the one Pavel Laube managed to come up with in the previous one. He already placed his white stone, and now he is thinking where to put the black one. And apparently I was right, Greg is also using a swap too. He placed the white stone here and the black one here, creating an interesting setup. Here obviously you have to evaluate your options carefully, whether or not a positional approach with white is sufficient. Can black create enough threats in the corner? What's your strategy? Do you want to be the aggressor with black, or would you rather try to defend with white? I would anytime pick black probably, although I would carefully consider, because this move looks quite good for white and you need to be very strong on the attack to succeed after this one. And that's the job for Jakub Horák now, to consider his options there, come up with a game strategy, and make some good decisions here. That's what he needs to do. But still, even after that move, I believe my first idea, which you could see with because of my cursor like this would be enough for black to win. Has to be. The swap 2 has to be black win, even if it could be a bit hard on some of the branches. Regardless, I believe Kuba is going to choose black color here and then launch an attack, and then it's up to him whether he can succeed with it or not. On the second table, I believe Petr Žižka is still trying to find a good spot for the black color for the fifth stone. And Kuba already chose black color. Very good by him. Quick evaluation, a correct one, I believe. And the expected move is already there from Gagi. So now Kuba just needs to find this beautiful I-10, which enables a lot of continuations for black and a possibly tough game for white. I would say Jakub Horák has this in his hands. And Petr Žižka, a former winner of the Brno Cup, came up with the swap 2. This is his choice for the game. And it looks interesting. What could Piggy do here? What could be his strategy? There are possibilities of a possible sharp game. I'm pretty sure that will not happen if Piggy chooses white. He will probably play some more defensive version. And maybe if Petr Žižka gets white, he may try some more aggressive approach. He tends to do that sometimes. I'm not yet sure which color to favor. This would require some calculating how aggressive you can play this, because if you can't play this aggressive, I would rather go for black. If you can play it aggressive, then of course you go for white, at least according to my game philosophy. And Kuba decided to play here, which is also not a bad offensive move. But maybe, just maybe, I would say it's gonna be a little harder to win this one. Maybe not a lot harder, but a little harder, definitely. Still, the advantage is with him, definitely. Yeah, this move should still be plenty. Looks really nice to me. A lot of ways to attack here. Yeah, it's looking devastating for black. For white, sorry. But we can also expect this move to come. After which you have a couple of options left. Again, some creative ways of attacking like this one, but it's sharp, very, very sharp. Or some positional defense like this, and then going for the attack. A lot of options for Kuba Horák, whether... Okay, this one actually was played. It's looking great for the young Czech player. Miroslav Háša, the highest ranked player in the tournament. He's a bit higher ranked on the Gomoku World Rank list than the actual world champion. He has some issues here. And apparently, on the other board that we can watch, Matěj Holub decided to side with black, and a passive move from Petr Žižka allows Matěj Holub to get creative once more, launch an attack, be the aggressive one in the game. Although the position looks fine for both colors, there is just the fact that it would be probably easier to use this stone on L3 from the original opening than it would be for Petr to use the one on M11 from the original opening. A lot matters on how the players decide to continue here. I believe for Matěj Holub the right way to proceed is with an aggressive approach, and Petr Žižka has to be patient. He cannot afford gambling on an attack down below that could cost him the game easily. he should be patient, because for black it's not that super easy to attack. It's also probably I could say not super hard either. Couple of options there for black to play something interesting. I prefer my move, of course, as usual. It looks like, yeah, the standard way of attacking this one. Very good. A shape creates a lot of possible lines to connect later on. White will struggle to defend here. But black needs to attack properly, of course. That's a prerequisite of playing this way. Having the proper offensive skills. Slight difference. It's more defensive, controlling the space, closing white more to the edge of the board, using the space, but at the same time I believe it creates some opportunities for Petr Žižka to come back into this game, because this creates less lines for black than the move on f6. g6 allows white to make some defensive moves. Maybe Matěj Holub wants to play this a little more cautiously, be a little more safe here. And this move indeed arrived already. It's already on the board. So we shall see how this can continue here. Definitely in favor of Jakub Horák. He just needs to find the proper line of continuation. But he has all the space he needs. This white stone is very far, it cannot be brought into action just yet. Hard times ahead of Miroslav Háša. And on the second board, probably hard times ahead of both players, because the position is, after this this black, I believe it's gonna be harder for black. Still, the advantage should be with black, but I believe that white can come up with a sufficient defense. One of these moves could be considered, and then it's hard to win. Of course, a lot of space still. This move is very far. This can be brought into action. This is again a bit out of position. Not a lot of space down there for white. Black can make easily defense there. I wouldn't think that something like this could actually work. It may, but I'm not convinced. So, I don't know. I'm expecting this move from Petr Žižka. Okay, this one. I would say this is even further from the original stones, which allows black to launch an attack right ahead. I would consider probably three options: e7, f8, and f6. And out of these two, maybe f8 and e7 would be my top two picks for the continuation. Both are very strong. White has nothing down there. Definitely it's enough for absolutely nothing. No threats can be posed there. Easily defendable threats. at most. And I'm expecting Matěj Holub to get aggressive here and go for the attack. Meanwhile, Jakub Horák played a very strong move in the position. It's looking real good for him. The one thing he has to avoid, which has been some issue for him in previous competitions, is spending way too much time on devising the attack itself, then getting into time trouble, missing the win, and then not coming out as a winner. That is something I believe he has to avoid here. Once more, fairly good options for him. I would pick probably G11 would be my first idea in the position. But once more, there's a lot of options for him. He can basically do whatever he wants to do. Almost. Still, G11 looks like the proper continuation for me. On the second table, we can see that Matěj Holub is carefully considering how to attack here. As mentioned before, both moves, both e7 and f8, are pretty strong in the position. Black definitely has the upper hand here, but it cannot extend the attack for too long. It needs some key moves. Matěj needs some key moves right now. On the next couple of moves, he has to build a strong base and then launch an undefendable attack. Okay. Something I discarded, he decided to play here, which I did not really like, to be honest. It is not really something I would play myself. It's too much. It's playing back to these white stones. You want white to get further away from these stones of using them, and now you create some opportunity for white to actually use them in the game, which means white may be able to find defense here after all. Maybe a positional move like this can work, or simply going here is enough. I believe this was a bit suboptimal in the position. Okay, this move came quickly from Petr Žižka, looking not at all bad for him. Yeah, this was just not strong enough in my opinion. And now he needs to again think it through how he can proceed from here. Still advantageous, but it looks like he's overcomplicating it a bit. This could be used maybe. I'm wondering if this can be used. Definitely requires some calculating. This move would have been much easier. But a nice task at hand for Matěj Holub to come out victorious from this position. Also Jakub Horák. Okay, this move was quickly played by Matěj. Maybe he was actually prepared for this response after this black. Let's see how well that can work for him. Maybe this is what's next. It should be good, but I don't know, it does not look too easy to win. But once more, let's see how the players actually playing the game will decide. I'm expecting Jakub Horák to soon make a move. As mentioned, he has a tendency of spending a lot of time on the initial phase and then not finding a win and then getting in some trouble, time trouble. He should be mindful of that. It has happened to him quite a few times already. It would be a pity if it would happen once more. Meanwhile, Petr Žižka decided with his next move, which has to be answered here. Block probably comes from below. We shall see. Nevertheless, Matěj Holub is on the move. Okay, it did come from above, and let's see where Petr places next stone. I believe he's gonna block from below. And the reason why he would want to do that is because if this gets played, there's this defense. You have to take care of it, and you cannot play this win. And if you play the 3 first, then this defense. Oh, sorry, actually, one more win. My bad. So the 4 definitely has to be played. Which is why I believe he's gonna block from below. That is what I'm expecting him to do. Blocking from above would be kind of also understandable. At the same time, maybe not the very best of decisions. Because I believe black can then go attack. Because whatever threat you pose here, black can defend it and then just go for the win. Which is why I believe he has to block from below, which he actually did. And Jakub Horák decided to not go on g11, he played here first, and now he can still go to g11. Believe it should be also pretty fine here in the position. I wouldn't be too scared, but he should avoid being too direct. I would say, yeah. Okay, a different move. Kuba picks g10 for the continuation, which is also probably advantageous for him, however, probably a bit more defendable. I'm expecting this move to come. And maybe this answer after that. Could be very well the way they continue the game. We shall see. White still doesn't have a lot of options. Yeah, okay, this was already played. And Kuba indeed played here. So seems like I managed to figure out his strategy. Meanwhile, Matěj Holub decided with an indirect attack. A block can come from here and here. Let's see where Petr Žižka decides. Yeah, he decided to play here. Now the 4 has to be played. And then you have to take care of this threat. For which I imagine Matěj is planning to play this one. But again, we shall see. Because he might have different plans. Actually, this is also possible. Maybe even this one. But I would expect him to play here. Regardless. Okay, the 4 already played. And now he just needs to pick his next move. One of these 3 moves have to come. This will be a bit out. After it, I believe. There could be some chance of... Actually, this is also not looking that bad. But... yeah, it looks like it could be enough. Whether this looks sufficient. And then you're out of the position. So yeah, my expectations met by Piggy. He decided with f3. And it looks like Miroslav Háša also played his next move, which is here on i9. Let's see if Jakub Horák is prepared for this. Let's see if he has a nice continuation in mind for this game. Couple of possibilities for him, of course. Maybe he's going to play like this. Pose some extra threats. Force white maybe to play his line. Close white to the right side of the board, and then black can go for attack. But of course, it can be played differently. Simply this can come instantly instead of those moves. And maybe this is still a possibility this way here. Let's see what Jakub Horák has in mind. Okay, he did play this line, which I believe is a good line for him. It looks promising for black. I will try and check how their clocks are. Not sure I will be able to see it, but let's try it nevertheless. Okay, yeah, Kuba has 2 minutes something, and Miroslav Háša has 6 minutes something. The minutes I can see. Okay, he just fell below 6, so he's a little less than 6 minutes. He's on the move. Kuba has to be a bit above 2 minutes. In a promising position, but again, a time trouble is nearby. So he has to be very careful here not to make a mistake. It seems like he is perplexed a bit. Greggy did play this one. It has to come from the middle. There is not enough threat. He has to see there is not enough threat in my opinion. Absolutely not. This is not enough. Even if you play like this indirectly, there's no way this can be enough. I would be very surprised if any strong attack could come out of this. It has to be, yeah, blockable. Kuba has to see this over. There's a chance he does not see it yet, but... Oh, actually, I accidentally closed the board. Wow. Well, then a quick redoing of the position. Okay. Yeah, exact scenario that got played. And there's no room for mistakes here. This has to come. Kuba must not get scared of this white attack. I really don't feel like there's enough to win for his opponent. It's just not enough. It's not sufficient. Yeah, it's just not enough. Let's go back to the other board in the meantime, where we can see that there has been some movements. This 4 got played first and then here, and this move came. Blocking in the middle should be just fine. No reason for panicking for Matěj Holub. Oh, and Kuba decides differently. Okay. He is in time trouble a bit already. This move was played, which forces this continuation. Also not bad for him, because this line just cannot be played, I believe. Yeah, because it's getting blocked here, and this is no VCF because of the cut. So this should be equally winning for Jakub Horák, I believe. The only thing that could be tried here is also defended. I do not believe Miroslav Háša can come back from this. He should not be able to. Meanwhile, the block in the middle arrived from Matěj Holub. Their clocks are not visible, but they should be also low on time, both of them. But Petr Žižka still needs to defend. He has two moves to consider, either f8 or a more aggressive g9. I would probably side with g9 any day, but let's see what he picks. He played this 4. Was it necessary? And a more passive approach here. This just means basically that Black remains on the attack, has space, has everything needed to win a game. Matěj Holub has an excellent position to collect his third point and beat another higher seeded player. Meanwhile, Miroslav Háša is indeed launching his attack. Oops. This way, Kuba is making the necessary defensive movements. I believe he has a good position here. As I have described the position and shown you previously, there isn't really a way for white to attack there, which frankly means white is surrounded in the corner without a sufficient attack. Black has all the resources in the central and top left area of the board, which means black has to win this game. Let me real quick peek at the clocks. Kuba is below 1 minute. Meanwhile, Miroslav Háša's clock is ticking around 2 minutes. A quick end is incoming. Let's see if Kuba can find a win in time trouble. My expectation is Gragi will see that he has no sufficient attack here. He's gonna block this threat with here and maybe try to defend here, and then a proper attack is needed from Jakub Horák to close this game. It's far from over, of course, because time trouble can matter a lot. Still easily can matter a lot. And let's see what move Matěj Holub decided with. It looks like he tries to attack the other side of the board. This is being played while I speak. I do not deem this sufficient for a win. Of course, he can try something here, but this area is not usable anymore much. So, unless he plans to attack here and can find a win, I believe he may have some troubles. Okay, he played here. He is a bit, in my opinion, wasting some of his resources, some very valuable ones, because this could have been used as well for offensive purposes. But probably Matěj Holub is also in a time trouble himself. Okay, Miroslav Háša did play the expected move upon realizing the cut, and now this just gets played. It has to. Kuba already played it. Well done. And indeed, the expected scenario, Kuba now needs to find the win. Due to their low time amounts and the quick moves incoming on both boards, I believe it's probably best if I will just focus on commenting the videos instead of explaining moves, because there is not a lot of time left for that. The proper offensive move by Jakub Horák, it's a very strong move, very hard to find defense. Also, don't forget about this 4, it can be used very much in the position. A terrific position for the young Czech player. Let's see if he can come up with a finish. He needs to be able to. He needs to. And a positional move from Matěj Holub there. Can that be sufficient? Kuba Horák has a win on the board, if I'm not mistaken. Exactly not like that. He should have placed that one more to the right, I believe. But he must be very low on time because he's making moves very fast. He still has the center of the board for himself. Although there might be enough space at the edge. I can't see it properly. It looks like there is enough space for a VCF. But it's a different move. Okay, he has to revert back to the central area. It looks like the attack on the top left corner is over. He's launching a new attack in the central area. Both of them are low on time. They have to be. Meanwhile, Matěj Holub launched an attack on the bottom right side of the table. Petr Žižka trying to find defense there. He has some threats. I wish I could see who's on the move. It is, well, if it's Piggy, he has a win, I believe. But he's playing a defensive move. Surprising that there was a win for him. Anyhow, he's still on the attack. Just like Kuba, who actually lost the game. Wow. So it's another one of those games where he just couldn't find the right moves in time, and then unfortunately in time trouble ended up losing a game in which he had a really strong position. It happens to him once more, unfortunately. Okay, Matěj Holub missed another win, and Petr Žižka is fighting for survival. Matěj has another win. He can use a forward to do a cut. I believe he sees it. Yes, he sees it. He's going to win using the cut. Matěj Holub does it again. He defeats Petr Žižka in the third round of the Brno Cup and has full points after 3 rounds. Very well done by Matěj Holub. He managed to find a win in time trouble after missing a couple. Still, he wins the game nevertheless. A frenetic performance from Matěj Holub, who has this way 3 points after 3 rounds, and I'm expecting him to face Miroslav Háša in the next round on the latter's opening, as Miroslav Háša also collected 3 points after surviving against Jakub Horák and defeating him in time trouble. We will be soon back with the 4th round, I believe. Stay tuned.